No other vehicle in Polybal is so infamous. These 50-ton behemoths roam around the battlefield, single-handedly changing the tide of the game itself.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
But what is the best tank in Polybal? And what tanks are there? Well, I've handpicked 5 of what I think are one of the most effective Polybal tanks in the game, and we're going to be reviewing them in this video. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. The first tank on this list is the Leopard 2A7. The Leopard 2A7 has been in Polybal since the very start, or at least when I started, back in July of 2020. If you're driving this tank and you're rolling up to the enemy base, it's going to cause quite a scene. So yes, it's definitely a major tank. The 2A7 has 1,350 hit points, so it can definitely soak in a few good hits. The tank is armed with a 120mm main cannon, accompanied by a coaxial turret. Furthermore, there is a separate 50 caliber machine gun turret on top of the tank. Now the best way to board this tank is right from the front of the tank, and on the right hand side you have the driver's seat, and on the left hand side you have the turret. The tank itself cruises at around 28 miles per hour, and actually gets up to speed pretty quickly. As far as tanks go, this is one of the fastest accelerating, and at this size of a tank. It's also one of the largest in the game. The only weakness with this tank, I would say, is that it's not very good at close quarter combat, since when you rotate the turret, you're also rotating the back part where all that metal is, so it can usually clip the sides of the walls and can cause you to go off balance. So I would recommend this for just open field combat where you can clearly see your enemy and you can hit that target very clearly. Let's go to the next tank. The M60TM tank is very similar to the Leopard, except there's a few more features, and also it's smaller and compact in comparison to the other tank. When you step in this tank, the first thing you'll notice is that it has thermal vision, and that everything is in black and white. Now, you may be asking, how does thermal vision work? Well, basically, thermal vision highlights any objects that basically give off heat. So that can be players, it could be an occupied vehicle, it could pretty much be any active vehicle or player. So you can find it more easily out of all of the fields and all the colors and stuff. It's just black and white, and all the highlighted white parts are just for you to hit, so it definitely makes aiming a lot more easier for noobs. The M60TM tank has a significantly more powerful cannon than its counterparts. However, it takes a very long time to reload, and also there is no coaxial turret on the right to fend off from any players on the front, so the turret must try to shoot there. This here is the M1 Abrams. It is one of the oldest tanks in Polybal, and it is the main rival to the Leopard 2A7. This tank has very similar performance to the 2A7. The only difference is that the coaxial turret does 30 damage instead of 40, and the turret only does 20 damage as it is not 50 cal and it's only an M2 Browning. Furthermore, this tank has a left-hand drive, so the driver will enter on the left and the gunner is on the right. Speaking of the gunner is exposed, so you will have to watch out for any people who try to climb up onto the tank and shoot you. Now here is a quick tank tip. If you ever run out of bullets or shells in your tank, don't abandon the tank if it's in perfectly good condition. Simply drive to the nearest point of ammunition for your vehicles or tanks. There should be one on each map, and I believe this is the one in Wake Island. It's in the very center. It's not too far from Base C, and there's also a place for you to load up on ammunition, so it's a perfect place to stop. Or you can simply call an engineer, or you could be an engineer and you could fix it yourself. Before this tank, attack helicopters were the most feared vehicle in Polybal, but once the Flakpanzer Gepard was introduced to Polybal in 2021, it dominated the battlefield, especially when it came to attacking air targets. The Flakpanzer Gepard is armed with 2 autocannons, which can be used to take down any flying vehicles. It is very useful. This tank only has capacity for just the driver, so the driver must be responsible for their safety, especially when there are close targets such as players. Speaking of which, the turret cannot be aimed any lower than 0 degrees, so when you're engaging with an enemy player, do not go up close and try and shoot it, because that will just make you an even bigger target. Either drive past them or drive over them, which will damage them, or drive backwards if they're slow enough and shoot them from far distance where your turrets can reach them. Last but not least, we have the Cromwell Mark 8 tank, or more commonly known in Polybell as the Cromwell. That's a tongue twister right there. Anyways, this tank is one of the best in my opinion because it's fast, small, lightweight, and also does a very hard-hitting punch to any vehicle that it comes across, or just any base it comes across, no matter if you're in a small tight space or if you're in a large open field. It's one of the best. It has a short barrel, which means you can rotate without having to worry about the pieces of metal hitting the sides of the walls. And also, interchangeably, you have a turret positioned at the front. The only downside of this tank, I would say, is that the turret has a very limited view, but it's also very hard hitting. Now those are what I think are the top 5 tanks in Polybell if you need to take down helicopters, if you need to clear a base, or if you just need to do anything in Polybell, those 5 tanks can probably do it all. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if this is your first time watching, or if you haven't yet done so. Also, I'm sorry if the quality of the video is not so good. I've been on Christmas break and stuff like that, so I was in a bit of a rush to make it again, so I'm pretty sure you can understand me. Anyways, I'll see you in my next video, which will be out on the 3rd of January next year. And also my channel trailer will be coming out at 12 AM Eastern Australian time on New Year's Day. So I'll see you then. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.